Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am sipping on some hot cocoa because the temps are dropping and winter is upon us here in the Chicago region. We're supposed to be getting some snow next week, and I have to get the cars prepped for it all. So today we are going to be swapping everything that I can to LED on the silver car, and in the process taking the taillights off the black car to put onto the silver car. A handful of people have expressed some interest in the black car. If you are possibly thinking that it might be something that you want in your driveway and or garage, it'd be a great addition to your fleet. If you're looking for a track toy, let me know. Send me an email, message, DM, smoke signal, whatever, and let's talk about it. But today we're going to be focusing on getting the black car more winterized and the silver car prettier, since that's the one I'm keeping. And to do that, I have partnered up with Auxito. They have sent some LEDs my way in some really nice packaging. This not only feels really nice, but it also tells you on the back exactly what the bulb is, color, application, all of that. And then the 194s actually were really nice because they came in a package with a bunch of them. And they have some LED diodes pointing outward and a bunch of them around. So these should light up everything really nicely. And I'm excited to try them out, see how they do. I've also got a discount code for you guys, which is SEBS15, and an affiliate link in the description. So if you use that, that would help me out a ton. So you can get some for your own car. And I should also mention, there's some new stuff on the website. I got some new merch going so that you guys have something to keep warm, or if you want some gifts for the holiday, that as well. I've got one of them on right now, which is the Run L15 sweater. I'm also thinking of turning this into a t-shirt, so if you would like to buy that in a t-shirt instead of a sweater, leave me a comment and let me know. But yeah, let's get out there and start turning some wrenches. Well, now that you know what we're doing, let me show you the difference between halogen and LED. As you can see, the LED is much easier to see in the daylight. It is kind of cloudy here, but you know, they do show a lot easier, and as we all know, the drivers today suck and they're all distracted and not paying attention. So I want to make sure that since I'm making this very pretty car, the one that has my turbo and all the expensive parts on it, that people pay attention and don't crash into it. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell right here, these are on. Kind of hard to tell. These you can barely even see. I don't even know if this will pick it up, but like super dim. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this bumper off. I'll show you on the car that doesn't have modified quarters, so you can follow along at home, and then we'll get these swapped out. To get the bumper off, we're gonna need some Allens for the bolts right here. A multi-tool like this will work. If not, if you've got a separate 5mm, it'd be even better. Panel rule tool for the two clips underneath, and a Phillips for the screws that are going to be near the wheel arch. So let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these two here. These I haven't really had many issues with, even on crusty cars. They are in the trunk, so they don't get too rusty. If your car is on the ground and you've got a more aggressive fitting wheel, a ratcheting screwdriver would be really helpful for this. If not, you can use a standard one, either jacking the car up a little bit or taking the wheel off, but I'm not going to go through all that, and I'm just going to use this guy. And it is at a little bit of a weird angle, just because it has to follow the body line. And once the screw is removed, you can use light pressure to remove this, and as you see, I'm kind of bending it back and forth so I'm not ripping the clips off. And after that, we do the two underneath. Now these two are a little bit more difficult. A panel tool like this will be very helpful. You can find these at like Harbor Freight or buy them online or whatever. And they are closer to the center. So there is one right here, another one right here. And these I have had issues with because the factory Honda ones have little metal tabs in the middle of them. And they can rust up, and what's going to win, metal or plastic? So the clips tend to break. And then it's like that one. That one actually just popped. But if you work them around, they should come off. And then once that's removed, the whole thing comes off. Look at how clean this thing is. I mean, it's dusty, but it's clean. These usually end up just accumulating all of this crud and stuff that gets back here and just rusts into Swiss cheese. And this thing is in insanely good condition for having been in the Midwest for a couple of years. So this was an Arizona car for most of its life, but it's damn clean. And seeing this for the first time when I put the stock tails back on really kind of sold it to me that this is the thing that's getting built instead of that. So now to get to the taillights, right back in here, there's a panel you remove. You can use your panel popper. And then there's 3 8mm bolts. They are difficult to get to, especially the top one, and you do not want to drop those nuts because they will go into the bottom of the chassis and you'll lose them forever. So I'm going to get those off and show you what the backside looks like so you can better tell where they are. Once you've got those 3 little 8mm out, make sure you keep those safe and don't lose them. You'll see the taillight is mostly loose, but you do still have a bracket down here. Now this locates the bumper, so I don't like messing with this, and I just undo the one Phillips that's underneath with the same screwdriver that you used to do the bracket by the quarter panel. So I want to pop that right off, and then this can come completely out of the car. There it is. And these are the 3 nuts that you need to take off. This top one is right above that socket. It's really difficult to get to, so make sure that you're not loosening that guy. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side, and then do it once again to the black car. And now we've got both the taillights out of the car. And instead of boring you doing it again on here, it's the same process. So I'm just going to see you after I get all that done. And we've been losing daylight pretty quickly here, so I got to get my move on. It's daylight saving time, so it gets dark at like 4:30. So I'm going to get this knocked out. I'll see you in a second. All right, both cars are apart. Birds are having a hell of a time apparently. You can see how dusty my hands got working on this thing. And what I meant about the crash bar, like you see all the surface stuff on these. This one's actually in pretty good shape for being Midwestern. It's a little flaky, but there's no holes. I've seen some that straight up look like Swiss cheese and they're awful. This car's not too bad for having lived most of its life here. When I first did the taillights, you'll see this one's got bolts instead of studs at the bottom of this bracket. I had to, the 2 studs broke, so I had to drill it, do some rib nuts, put hardware there. Where this one still has both the studs in place right here. So, you know, it's lived its life in the Midwest and it shows a little bit. But now that we've got the LEDs off of this car, they're going to go into this guy. But there are very small wiring differences between the two. These have 2 running lights. The running lights are all built into this section here. So I'm going to go ahead and install where each one of them goes, and then we'll get to the wiring.
Not my favorite look. I don't really care for the way the factory taillights look, but not so bad on this car. I think the rest of the car being flashy kind of takes away from the taillights looking crappy. Now the bumper's not super held in just yet because I need to make, I don't know if you'll be able to see this angle, but I need to make, look at all that, that's tire, a spacer, because this kind of folds in and I need it to be out like that so that the bumper stops chewing up my tire. You'll see all this right here because these wheels are very aggressive. So I need to 3D print something to hold this out towards the edge, which is not an issue on this side. This one sits pretty flush. So I left everything loose so I can work on that later in the week. But let's get to the fun stuff. Damn, that does a ton for the car. I think it looks amazing on the silver. Still not crazy about these. My least favorite of all OEM taillights on a fit, but I don't hate them. Again, I think the rest of the car being a little more flashy sort of kind of pulls it off. I don't hate them. Now this looks amazing. But now we got to wire them, and I also forgot to steal the third brake light because this has a JDM matching third brake light, and this has the halogen. It's just two little bolts that hold it in. Super easy. So let's get to the wiring and swapping that out. Getting to this third brake light is super easy. We're just going to use the same panel popper tool. Take off this little plastic piece here, like that. And then there's two 10mm bolts right there and right here, and a simple 2-wire electrical connector. Now you can use, I have a post about this on my Instagram, you can use a second gen, a GE third brake light. They are LED, all of them as far as I know, at least the ones on the US market. You just have to swap the pins left to right because the polarity is backwards. And LEDs do care about that. We'll have a fun little school segment about that in a little bit. But yeah, just like that. Get the wire out of the way. We've got a tail light. Well, third brake light. And here we've got the JDM LED clear third brake light. This is the same size lens as a second gen, but this one had a burnt out LED, which is why I've used the Seps Garage overlay, which you can get on the website. Now the polarity on this is correct to just go ahead and plug in. You don't have to switch the wires on the second gen one. If it's going into a first gen, you do have to flip the wires on the connector so that the polarity is correct. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this right in. And this will be the first product that we get from today's video sponsor, Auxedo. There is a referral link in the description, and you can also use the discount code SEBS15 for 15% off your order. These will be for the reverse light. These use a crappy little halogen, and you can't really see anything when you're backing up. And if you open up this really nice packaging here, the new lights have not only an LED going out, but also sideways. So these should emit a lot more light and actually make it visible when I'm backing up. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in the connector and then get the connector plugged into the housing. So much better. These are way brighter. I don't know if you can tell on camera, really. I know GoPros aren't exactly amazing at picking up low light, but these are way, way brighter than the halogen that was on there. And then I also went ahead and did some LED plate lights. The little plastic housings here are pretty dirty, so I'm gonna have to try to get new ones so that they can actually be as bright as they possibly could be. But that's a hell of an improvement for the rear end. So let's go ahead and do the interior. Fit interior lighting is pretty poor. Most of what you're seeing is exterior lighting, and that's really all we've got. It's just that one little dome light, and it's very dim in here, in case you couldn't tell. So let's go ahead and fix that. All right, with some proper LED spotlights in here, now you can see that thing is super dim. So I'm gonna turn it off so it's not so hot. Pop that lens off, and then we are going to use an Auxedo bulb, which should hopefully lighten up this interior a whole lot more. Maybe not as much as like the sun here, but pretty good. Much better in here. Again, these cameras don't do a whole lot of low light stuff justice, but you can actually see stuff in here. I can see the center. This is going to be very poor, and I apologize ahead of time, but let's see if we can get the trunk light done as well. Now here's another fun little upgrade that we're going to be doing. This is the standard light, which just comes on and stays on all the time. And thanks to Jason, whose Instagram I'll put right down here, we have a switchable cargo light. So this is from a different Honda model, and I think MDX's maybe, Acura. And it's got a little switch so that we can toggle when we want the light on or off, which is going to be pretty handy at track days and stuff when the trunk is open for an extended period of time. And I've already gone ahead and put the LED light on there. It's pretty cool that these come with a handful of them in a package so that you can do pretty much your whole car just with one kit. So let me plug this in and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, the camera again is going to do terrible justice to this, but you can see that I can actually see stuff pretty much the entire trunk. And if we move over to this other car here, you'll see that this is much dimmer, and as I get a little far, there's really not much of any light. And this right here is pretty much halfway through the trunk where the tailgate latches, so not a whole lot. And here we've got a lot of light. This is halfway, this is all the way to the other side, and it's almost as good as the other one is halfway. So quite a bit better lighting right here. And let's see what else we can get into. I was going to do the front, but these headlights are looking a little dingy, and I have a line on a set of brand new black housings, which I'll probably also end up doing the projector bulbs to. And we've already done the yellow fog light mod on this in a previous video, so I think that does it for this one. I will probably end up taking the hood off of this and putting a regular hood back on so I don't have to worry about things getting wet when it snows. I haven't decided yet if this is going to end up on that or not. I might test fit it and see how it looks. I think the carbon on the silver might be cool, but I'm also a little tired of having to deal with a giant hole in the hood, so we'll see what happens. I've also done the wheel and tire package, different than the previous video. This is the stuff that was on this car. So yeah, it's making some pretty good progress on
silver car. I'm gonna go back in here because it is freezing out there. But making some pretty good progress on the silver car, and I still have to figure out what the heck is going on with that transmission noise. I'm really hoping it's just something clutch related and I don't have to replace or rebuild the transmission, but I have a sneaking suspicion that one of the bearings in it is bad. So that'll be coming up when the lift is not busy. Prelude has been getting some work done. Radiator just got done because it blew up. And we're getting close. We're getting real close to getting that thing done. It's been a long time coming. Been making some really good progress on Danny's Integra as well. I'll have a video on all the updates on that soon. And then we will eventually be getting into some Civics. I've got my green car that needs to get done. I've got red car behind me that needs to get done. And some other changes that are also coming, which I've gone over in a previous video. But you'll see all that in due time. So for now, that should do it. Don't forget to use the affiliate link in the description. Pick up some new merch on the store. And if you haven't yet, please give the video a like and subscribe because that helps out a lot. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.